Hi, welcome to Trigonometries. I'm Alan Perry. In this video, we're going to talk about how to do cell referencing. There are two types of cell referencing. When you want to reference a cell in an Excel sheet, something like this, let's put in some just random data into here, 2, 3, 6, and 8. Well, let's put some data in here too. So 8, -2, -1, and 5. And now we have all this data over here. Let's say in this cell, we want to reference the value in A24. So if I put enter there, you can see that that is just going to grab the value in A2. Now, if I wanted to make that same reference here, I could copy and paste it by doing a Control-C and then a Control-V. But you see the number's different now. Instead of being a 2, it's a 3. And that's because when I just write in equals A24, that's going to say reference the cell 2 columns to its left. All right, because I'm in C24, A24 is the cell that's exactly 2 columns left. And so when I put it in just like that, that's how it interprets it. It interprets that location relative to the one that you wrote it in. So this is now thinking of, I'm going to be equal to the cell that's exactly 2 columns to my left. And when I copy it, it keeps that action. And it says, I'm going to copy the cell that's exactly 2 columns to my left. By the way, instead of using Control-C and Control-V or copy and paste, you can actually just drag that little dot there and it'll copy that all the way down and keep the formula there. But each one of these are again just doing, I'm going to be equal to whatever the cell is that's 2 columns to my left. That's how it preserved it. Now, what if instead I wanted to force this to be equal to the entry that's in the column 2 to my left, but is always in row 24? I can force it to maintain row 24 by putting a $sign in front of the 24. If I then copy and paste that all the way through, you'll see that now everything is saying that it's equal to this cell here. And in fact, if I go down, you can see that it is indeed keeping the row 24 the same, but it's still looking at the column 2 to its left. If I copy this over here, you can see that the column changed because it's still thinking 2 columns to my left, but it's keeping row 24 maintained. So this guy is going to copy 2 columns left, that's the B column, but row 24. And then if you go all the way down here, it's going to maintain that all the way through. On the other hand, what if I wanted to allow the row to change, but I wanted the column to stay the same? So now I want the C24 to be equal to the value that's in column A in the same row that I'm in. If I do that and copy and paste it down, now it's going to pick up everything in that one. It's going to go down because the column A isn't changing for any of these. But this time, if I were to copy it over here and then drag that down, you can see that it's picking up again. See, look, the whole time the A is staying the same. So it's keeping the A static, but it's allowing the row to shift as you go. So whichever part of the cell that you put the $sign in, whether the column or the row, it is going to force that one to stay constant as you copy and paste. It's called a static cell reference because the reference stays static. The ones that change are called relative cell references because they're telling you what the reference is relative to your position. You can actually make both of them static by putting a $sign in front of both. This then would force it to specifically reference column A and row 24. And if I were to copy that down, you can see very quickly that it's going to just be 2s everywhere because every single one of them is referencing A24. So the main idea with how cell referencing works is that cell referencing without the $signs, it's entirely relative. Whatever you type in there, it's going to interpret as where is that located relative to the cell that I'm at, how many columns over, how many rows down or up or whatever. And it's going to keep track of that. And as you copy and paste, it's going to move that along so that it's always referencing that same location relative to what cell you're copying it into. If you want a row or a column to stay fixed when you copy and paste, you have to put a $sign in front of the row or the column that you want to stay the same. And so that's pretty much all there is for cell referencing. We'll catch you next time on Trigonometries.